Something strange is unfolding across the planet. In recent days, a rare legendary deep-sea creature has begun surfacing in distant corners of the world, the oarfish. You might wonder, what makes this so unusual? After all, aren't they just another deep-sea species? But for many cultures, especially those living along the Pacific Rim, the sudden appearance of oarfish carries a very different meaning. They've seen this before, and they know exactly what it could signify. In Japanese folklore, they're known as the messengers from the sea god's palace. This fish has long been viewed as a sign, not a good one, but an omen of what's to come. Legends warn that when this creature rises from the depths, it signals the approach of natural catastrophe, earthquakes, tsunamis, violent shifts beneath the ocean floor. In this time when technology has advanced so much, we might view it as nothing but a superstition. But for many, it's backed by experience. In 2017, just days before a powerful earthquake struck southern Philippines, 6 oarfish were reported near the coastline. Their unexpected arrival didn't go unnoticed, and in hindsight, it seemed like a signal. A similar pattern played out in 2011. In the weeks before the devastating Tohoku earthquake and the Fukushima nuclear disaster, several oarfish were spotted off Japan's shores. As reports of oarfish sightings increase worldwide, it's understandable that some people, particularly those familiar with their reputation, are beginning to feel concerned. What makes this more concerning is that the sightings aren't isolated. They've been happening around the same time, in different parts of the world. The timing has raised questions. For some, it's starting to seem like more than just coincidence. Some have connected these sightings to growing concerns about the vast stretch of ocean between Japan and the Philippines, a region many believe may be on the verge of a major geological shift. Many are now asking the same unsettling question. Could this be a sign that a major disaster is impending? But before we dive into these ominous warnings, let's first get to know this mysterious fish better. The oarfish lives deep in the ocean, far below where sunlight can reach. This species is rarely seen in its natural habitat. Most people only encounter it when it washes ashore, lifeless, stretched out on the sand. This sea creature is the longest known bony fish in the world. The longest one ever recorded measured an astonishing 23 feet. Its distinct appearance, especially the crest of fin rays on its head, has earned it the nickname King of the Herrings. For years, scientists have been fascinated by its size and shape, though much about its life in the deep ocean still remains unknown. Because live oarfish are so rarely seen, scientists have had limited opportunities to study them in their natural environment. Until the early 19th century, this creature was widely considered a myth. Sailors spoke of sea serpents, long, terrifying beasts said to lurk in unexplored waters. These stories painted them as monsters, haunting ships and unsettling those who dared to cross the open ocean. With its elongated silver body and odd ribbon-like form, the oarfish easily became the subject of maritime legends. Its unfamiliar appearance led some sailors to believe it was dangerous. There were even early accounts describing it with sharp teeth, more like a sea serpent than a fish. However, as time progressed, many of the early myths began to fade. The fearsome teeth once described in sailor tales were never found, replaced instead by more accurate observations from early naturalists. It became clear that the oarfish wasn't a sea monster, but a real, if mysterious, deep-sea animal. Now let's dive into the unusual current sightings of this fish species. In the span of just a few days, 4 of these deep-sea creatures have been reported in completely different parts of the world, an unusual cluster that's difficult to ignore. The first of these recent sightings occurred on June 2nd, off the coast of Tasmania. Shortly after, 2 more were found on New Zealand's South Island. Then came a 4th report, this time from India. 4 sightings, in 4 different regions, all within the same narrow time frame. So it's not surprising that these recent events have caught the attention of those who follow prophecies and natural omens. For them, these couldn't be random at all, but signs that a large-scale disaster could strike before the year is through. And at the center of these concerns is Japan, a nation shaped, both literally and historically, by the forces of the earth beneath it. Situated on the volatile Pacific Ring of Fire, Japan has long lived with the constant threat of seismic upheaval. One of the most closely monitored zones lies just offshore, the Nankai Trough. Here, the Philippine sea plate steadily grinds beneath the Japanese archipelago, moving just centimeters each year. But those tiny shifts build up over decades, storing massive amounts of energy deep below the surface. The last time this pressure gave way was in 1944 and 1946, when two powerful earthquakes, both magnitude 8.1, shook the region and left a trail of destruction behind. Now, scientists warn that the cycle is nearing its critical point once again, and it could reach magnitude 9. Could the sudden rise of oarfish sightings be a warning for this nation? Across the Pacific, attention is also turning to another potential threat, one that lies along the western edge of North America. Scientists at the U.S. Geological Survey have long been watching the Cascadia subduction zone, a massive fault line stretching from Northern California all the way to Vancouver Island in Canada. This region has a violent geological past. Over the last 14,000 years, it's believed to have produced at least 30 major earthquakes. That's roughly one every 500 years. But for centuries now, Cascadia has been eerily silent. Experts believe the tectonic plates in this region are currently locked in place, building up immense pressure beneath the surface. When that pressure is finally released, it could trigger a devastating chain of events. Experts warn it could become the most destructive natural disaster in U.S. history. It's expected to impact millions of lives across multiple states. In 2024, 3 consecutive oarfish sightings in California happened within a year. This is against the 20 recorded instances within 120 years. Could this be an early signal that the Cascadia subduction zone is about to rupture? Still, many scientists remain skeptical. A 2019 study found no definitive link between oarfish sightings and seismic events, concluding that the appearances of these deep-sea creatures are likely coincidental rather than signs of impending disaster. However, there's another theory regarding this sudden multiple sightings of oarfish. It suggests that some of these anomalies might not be natural at all, rather the result of something man-made, a covert underwater nuclear testing. Yes, on record, large-scale nuclear tests ended decades ago, of course with the exception of North Korea. But some researchers suspect that testing may never have truly stopped. Instead, some countries might have just moved this out of view. Deep in the ocean would be a perfect example. It's beyond the reach of most seismic sensors and surveillance, so it could be a logical choice. Because if a nation wanted to test its most powerful weapons in secret, to maintain its arsenal without global scrutiny, there would be no place more discreet than the remote trenches of the Pacific. The damage caused by these tests to deep-sea environments could be driving more of these elusive creatures to the surface, explaining why they're appearing on our shores with increasing frequency. In the end, we mustn't quickly dismiss the belief that the oarfish sightings are omens as just superstitions. Because in a world that's constantly moving and changing, even the smallest signals can mean something more. But, do you believe the omens being brought by the oarfish? If you love our story, please subscribe to be part of our community. As always, until the next one. If you'd love to be always prepared when it comes to unforeseen events, we suggest that you get this handy survival kit. Just click the shopping button in the descriptions.